Wala.
Niyaki.
Janet.
Kendricks.
Halito.
Jay.
Sio.
Kuna.
Ansti Hunterish.
Dawaka.
Kunamante.
Sio wado.
Kikadoos.
Yeah.
Big Witch.
Nice.
Yeah. Navas.
Hey.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Coming live from 1950. Warm, Matsame.
How's everybody doing?
Hope everybody's having a good morning.
Monday.
We got a special episode. Yes, a special guest.
Who?
Well, I mean,
Mahakis?
you don't ever
Or midships?
you don't ever like to do this anymore.
I'm always on the road. And we got other people that want to get on, share their knowledge. Mama.
Okay. Hama.
Man, I can't.
You just be choosing, huh?
No. I don't pick and choose. I mean, I'll roll.
You be choosing, bro.
You pick, I'll roll.
So how you been, Mingo?
Good, brother. Good.
Are you ready for Thursday?
Thirsty Thursday, yes, sir.
It'll be your first MC gig.
Yeah.
Tell us a joke.
Why didn't turkey cross the road?
A Choctaw turkey?
And
Yeah.
Navajo turkey.
What?
To get away from your ugly. Ugly.
You better run.
Yeah. Don't look back.
Well, are you nervous?
No, I'm kind of more excited. Trying to get my stories and my jokes right.
Well, that was a horrible joke that you just told.
Oh, I'm like, I gotta save
Hope they're better than that.
I gotta save it.
Yeah.
I asked one of my elders. And you know what he told me? He said, just start dissing all the other chicken dancers.
I didn't know who you was talking to. Yeah. I didn't know who you was talking to then.
You already know?
Yep, crazy guy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy old man.
Mahakis.
Well, I'm pretty excited. This Thursday, we will be having a gourd dance at the Jinx Fieldhouse here in El Reno at 5. And, nothing crazy.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Ain't going to be nothing crazy. Ain't going to be like all night because, but we're having Native American All-State here for football. And they're having it second year. They're having it here in El Reno.
Uh-huh.
And, we're going to make some gourds with the players. When are we going to do that? That Thursday?
That Thursday afternoon.
That Thursday from
12
to 4.
12 to 4. We're going to be making gourds with the football players. And then from 5 to maybe 9-ish. Because they got to play the next day.
Midnight.
7 a.m. Yeah. But from 5 to, I don't know, 9-ish,
10,000.
So if you're not busy, we will be serving a meal at 5 and then gourd dance to follow after that. Kind of put together a little head staff.
Yeah.
And Mr. Our very own Mr. Eye Candy, Domingo Eye Candy, White Man it'll be his first MC gig. So, I mean,
exciting.
I already know who's going to be fangirling. Your wife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tell her to keep it down.
Yeah.
Keep it down. I was going to say, Courtney and Suda.
Yeah. But, I'm excited. My got a couple nephews,
Yeah.
be playing in the game, which is always cool. Be 2 years in a row. The Ellis boys, were able to make Native American All State.
Mm.
I mean, besides Junebug being All State, anyways, but,
Yeah.
or all conference. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm excited. So, do we have any comments?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Laura says, "Good morning, brothers."
Pivot one.
Good morning, Laura. She says 2 years and 6 months alcohol and drug free.
All right, Laura.
And Shayna Beaver says, "Good morning, Mingo and Brother Barry.
Good morning.
211 days well today.
Hey, all right.
Hey, congrats.
May your day
Congratulations.
rain with blessings. Love, Legend."
Thank you, sister.
Yeah, this guy.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for the comments. So I seen, the brother Isaac Rhodes.
Buck.
He posted that June 2nd, 1924, Native Americans were considered U.S. citizens. So it's been 101 years. I mean, we've been on this continent for but we finally got a piece of paper. And that's crazy because I think back to like my great grandpa, Harvey Goodbear. By then he had already died overseas for America. Like that's crazy to think that he was good enough to die for this country, but wasn't even considered a U.S. citizen yet. Like that. That's crazy.
Can't make that up.
Can't make that up. And it's I don't know. Like I have mixed feelings when I think about it. But I also understand, like, I don't want the negative to overshadow like what he did and the sacrifice he made. So I can be here today and maybe memorialize him in a way that that he deserves. Because I'm pretty sure in my hometown out there in Thomas, I want to say he has a grave out there, but I'm not sure if he's in it or not. But I want to say that he has a grave out there. And from my understanding, from what I was told, is that the family found out about him before the army notified him. Through through some spirits. Through I and this is just what I was told, is that a badger notified the family, that he had lost his life and made the ultimate sacrifice for for his country. So like that's pretty awesome story, I think. But I mean, it's mind blowing to think that we've been here for thousands and thousands of years and we've only been considered U.S. citizens for 101 years. So what do you got going on, Mingo?
Oh, a lot. Hey.
Yeah. Oh. Would you want to share some details?
Yeah. I mean, last week at Turtle Camp, and then
What is Turtle Camp?
it's a camp that you bring more like different from ages 6 to 17-year-olds, and they just have like a cultural demonstration, like the language. Regina and Fred were out there, and Jacinia, they're all out there. They're teaching them like different
Phrases, or you kind of
Yeah.
like that what they taught us?
Yeah, and then they did snake and buffalo dance, and they do a lot. They try to do more, connect all the how you call it, like the urban natives,
Yeah.
or into their cultural, and because some of them will be they may know they're Indian, but they don't know like maybe they never been to powwow or any kind of ceremony, or
Definitely.
sweats or anything. They don't have an idea, but now they're getting that idea, and that was the goal of Turtle Camp, and is to get that their cultural knowledge and
Be proud of who they are.
yeah, knowing who they are, where they come from. And I learned something this Saturday. I met an elder, he's a Comanche guy, but he said, well, every time you ask somebody, well, where'd you come from? Oh, I'm from Enid, or oh, I'm from Lahuska. Or, they don't really say like, well, I come from this, you're the tribe or this people, and they're just so how do you say colonized to just say where they're.
Like, I'm from this area.
Yeah, I'm from Thomas.
Yeah. I'm not, yeah, I get that. I get that.
So I think learning that is very important. Like that's part of the camp too, is just having them learn. Oh yeah, I am this tribe, or my mom was a princess or a formal princess or whatnot. So my grandpa was involved. Just them being connected to that to not forget.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah. So and
You
then,
know.
yeah, and then we finished out with Red Earth. So presentations about understanding regalia. So it was pretty cool at the cultural hub. Yeah.
Where's that? Where is the cultural hub?
On 25th and Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Little Indian area down there.
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Even like natives hanging out, like on the streets.
Yeah. And then I met I did another one at the Edmond JOM and got to meet a good set of people and kids too. They there was like I had to because I just got done with Hammond. So they told me to, go detail, and they're gonna have pop quizzes at the end. Man, all them kids got it right. So it was a good they know where Hammond is now.
Oh, yeah?
And to wear socks. But yeah, lately it's been like I've been thinking about it, meditating, how important it is just to be able to, like, how we pass down our knowledge, we
Mhm.
get back and be able to show the little guys, our nieces and nephews, learning. And like just coming up Thursday, I'm so excited to just some of them may not never been to a gourd dance.
Yeah.
They may have heard or never know what it was, or so I think it'll be a good teaching, a good class, a good dance to come to, and just and have honor them.
Yeah. To me, it's about the exposure.
Yeah.
Like they're learning something, and it's something that they can always go back to. It doesn't matter what tribe you are. It doesn't matter, if you're feeling that drum, you get up and I think about when we were at Trail of Hope, and one of the Mexican brothers got up. He was just up there just jamming.
He's getting it.
Man, like I love seeing that. So I mean, to me that was good medicine. Like it wasn't really his way.
Yeah.
Not to say, I don't know where he comes from, or who was, I don't know his story or nothing, but he was feeling that drum, and he got up and he was not scared to show it. And to me that's what it's about.
And we talk about the medicine wheel, all our different nations coming together. So
For sure.
him doing that and feeling it is a good.
Yeah. It's a good thing to see. So, there was something else I had seen Saturday night, I want to say. Like on my, like when I watch Facebook Reels,
Yeah.
like the things that come up, I guess they're things that, your phone hears you talking about,
Mhm.
or, different things that, but anyways, like there's always this recovery stories, sobriety things are always coming up, which, that's, most of my interests.
Yeah.
But, I heard this guy talking about, yeah, we all know the bad effects of addiction, right? Like we all know like what the bad things of it is. The cause and effect. But he said, one thing that helped him was he looked at all the good things. And like just him saying that sentence got my attention. Like what? Like what do you mean the good things of addiction? And he said, if it wasn't for addiction, he said there's no telling how I would have suffered mentally because I was having a life crisis, and it helped relieve the symptoms of what was going on in my life. He said because I was contemplating suicide. I was having like a mental health breakdown, and he said, and I've never even thought about it like this, and I don't want anybody to take this out of context, but he said that he feels like it saved his life. It showed him that he was willing to try something, and he said it was like putting on a life jacket because he felt like he was drowning. And he said putting on the life jacket, like it kept him afloat and it helped him. He said, but then whenever it got all wet, it turned into concrete and he started sinking. Like then the substances became the issue. And he forgot all about the mental strain he was having. Like I don't know why, but at the time it made so much sense to me. Like I've never really, I my mind's always open to how other people look at this thing, but to hear somebody, put it that way, I mean, it really made a lot of sense to me. I completely understood that. And and it still trips me out that he said the good things about addiction. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, wow, like I get that. Like I've never thought about it like that, but I mean, I get that. I understand what he's trying to say. Like these things relieve the symptoms of what was going on in his life. But then he kept turning to him so much that he needed to be healed from the substances. And I don't know, like it just something made sense listening to that guy. And I wish I would have saved it. I wish I would have, like I want I the way he put it was perfect. I'm just paraphrasing, but it really made me think about the way that I view my own like it's such a I think of it as such as like a dark place that I had to go, but I mean when I truly think about it, when I was just trying to survive. I was just trying to make it. I was just trying to, you know, uh get through the day, and and then I start thinking like what damn, what if I didn't? What if I didn't have those things? What if I didn't have the drugs and alcohol? Then what would have happened? I may not even be sitting here today. There's just so many things that got my little pea brain going, you hear that wheel in there creaking, little hamster was like working. Yeah. But I it really makes me think about, what would have happened if I didn't have those things? What mental state would I be in today if I didn't have those things to turn to? Would I have found a positive way? And the way my mind works, I would have went to the thing that was easiest. My mind doesn't want to do anything hard. I would have turned to, I probably would have turned to another person, trying to, love is just as addictive, there's just so many ways that my mind started thinking about, well, damn, where would I have went? What would I have done? But it was just something that I heard, it made a lot of sense to me, but at the same time, I've never heard it be put that way. Looking at the good things of addiction. Because even like hearing it come out of my mouth, it still sounds weird to say that. I don't know. So, but yeah, that's basically. Oh, there was a question I wanted to ask. Do you feel like there's a difference between users and people that are addicted?
Users and people are addicted.
Is there a difference?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because
I don't know if you're.
it was said, it was said, that somebody was looking for help, right? And their mom laughed in their face and said, "Why are you trying to get help? You're not addicted. You're just a user." And I was just kind of like, what do addicts do?
Use.
They use.
I think that's a way of like trying to justify.
Yeah, trying to justify.
Yeah, for sure.
I just thought that was the weirdest comment. Somebody that wants help, and then you're telling them like your life isn't miserable enough.
Dang.
Go
You know,
harder.
yeah,
Go harder, go home.
You're a rookie.
Yeah.
You still got some things.
Yeah.
Still got supposed to
the-
lose it all.
The party clubs.
Yeah. Do we have any more comments?
Yes.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have a lot of good. We
Lots.
have a lot of good comments today.
Mm.
Let me scroll up and start with Kimberly West.
Good
says
morning,
good
Kim.
morning. And Susie Rednose. Good morning.
Oh, hey, good morning,
Oh,
Susie.
Lila Marie. Good morning from Ponca.
Hey, I heard you had a good dance up there this weekend. Thank you for tuning in.
White Eagle.
Yep.
Susie Rednose says, I prayed hard and God has placed a change in my life. I am very grateful and thankful for very seen and unseen blessings.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
She also said, I will reconnect with watching you guys and the ladies as well. I need these types of connections, groups, talks, just listening. Thank you for being a part of so many lives across Indian country.
Hey, we appreciate that. And you're always welcome. You're always welcome to tune in. We appreciate it. We really do.
Cassandra Faye says, Pivawona headed to Ellis County without Mingo in all caps.
What?
Hey, he wanted
Hey,
to
no.
do the live.
No cap.
Yeah.
No cap. Yeah, he's mid right now.
Mhm.
Oh my God. Jen Miller, good morning, y'all.
Good morning, Jen. Up there in Billings.
Stacy Starr says, good morning.
Stacy.
Good morning, Stacy. Stacy.
Adelia says, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for tuning in, niece.
Mm-hmm.
David Deere, good morning.
Stongo David.
Stacy Starr says, I'm ready for Thursday.
Come on out.
Lila Marie said algorithm, and that was when you were talking about your feed, your Facebook feed.
Oh, yeah.
Recovery algorithm, you know?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
same with mine too, and
Yeah, constant. And I love it.
mhm.
You get all these, because I don't care if you got 100 years of sobriety or if you got one day. I want to know why you did it.
Yeah.
What helped you make that decision?
Mhm.
So I always, I want to read everybody's recovery story. I want to see their recovery story. Like it's became my life. I enjoy it. I don't know. I like that recovery algorithm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Tommy Trout says, good morning from Concho, Oklahoma.
People would not, brother.
Oh,
People
people
would
would
not.
not.
Misty says, good morning, good sirs.
Good morning, Miss Hickson.
Nadina Grant, did I say that right?
Yes.
Says, good morning, Barry.
Good morning, Nadina. Tell them kids I said good morning.
Andrea says, good morning, keen looking shirts.
Aho, aho. Oh. Yeah, both.
And Shelly has a really
Shelly
good
Yates.
comment. Shelly Yates says, even in the darkness of our addiction, we have to be able to find good in it. It was a part of our journey to be who we are today. Every trial and tribulation we go through or experience, there's good that comes from it.
Always.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that, sister. Hope you're having a good morning. Eat the tea, nakusech.
David Onzawa says, good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
Oh, Dave.
Frida says, good morning, brothers.
Good morning,
Good morning.
sis.
Good
We are
night.
either Tommy Trout says we are either working on recovery or we are working on a relapse. A little progress each day adds up to big results. Good words.
Hey, I like that. I
Oh,
like that.
oh.
Good words. I like that too. Because sometimes you forget that little progress is progress still, no matter
Oh, yeah.
no matter what, and don't be too hard on yourself.
Progress, not perfection.
Yeah. Um,
Is that it?
People talked about you saying pea brain. Laura said, well said, only our creator can judge.
Mm,
Susie says, I'm just glad we all found recovery.
for sure.
Mm.
Right there, she's an enabler.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Isaac Rhodes says, if Barry Boat didn't say it, then it isn't truth.
Dang.
Mm.
Yeah, this
Best comment
guy.
today. Yeah.
Anita says, good morning from Baltimore. Sure.
Oh, hey, Auntie Anita.
Baltimore.
Yeah, that's Darian's auntie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dave says, I'm grateful for my addiction because the drugs and alcohol helped me survive some crazy times in my life. But now that I don't have them available, how do I survive? I have to be willing to learn these new coping skills and way of life to continue on.
That's right. That's right. Was that Mr. Unzawa?
No, that was
Dave.
David Levi.
Mr. Levi. All
Shout out
right.
to South Coast.
Oh.
Shout out to South Coast Behavioral. Y'all tell my boy Dallas I said good morning. Tell my boy Justin I said what's up. And it's amazing. It's amazing how the creator, has made a way for you to be exactly where you are today. So always take that into consideration. There's been so many times, that I all I wanted was the opportunity, right?
Mhm.
That's all I wanted. I didn't know what that looked like. I was scared, actually, of what that was supposed to look like. But the more and more, it started out with the one day. It started out, learning what my drug of choice was, and like all this terminology, like it didn't make sense. Because we used to just talking any old way. Still kind of do, but um, like my way didn't work. Like I tried it my way, and I ended up strung out and drinking every day. I was an alcoholic addict. So, I'm proud of everybody that's at South Coast today.
Mhm.
That's a huge deal. And you got a whole community of people that are willing to support you and be there. And, we appreciate, you all taking the step that you needed to take to get sober today. So, once again, shout out to South Coast. Do we have any more comments?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a lot.
Isaac Rhodes says, great dance at White Eagle. Nat says mid 30s. Mingo Brew.
What?
Remember when I told you that last week? I was like, Mingo, you're mid. And he was like, mid 30s?
Oh.
Yeah. Now you're acting mid again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mary Beaver says, good morning, tour. Beautiful day.
Good morning, Mary.
Mary.
Adelia says, I'll tell my story soon, my people.
All right. We're waiting, Adelia. We've been waiting, girl. You got a powerful story.
Speaker night.
Early in my recovery, this is Susie. Early in my recovery, I fought with my addiction. I would relapse, but I would take that puff, and then that was it to get it out of my system and then go on with my sobriety. I am a work still in progress. I have come to this point now where I am stronger in my sobriety. I had 10 months, then I fell back and relapsed for a month, and now I'm back in sobriety. I thank Creator for helping me through the storm.
We appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah.
You know, you got back on that horse. That's all that matters. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
is that you got up and you got back
Back
on.
up
So.
again.
Leanna Thomas says, "Good morning, fellas. Can't wait for the dance Thursday. Y'all gonna be there?"
Yes, if you bring
Yes.
PB and J.
Thunder Watch Party.
PB&J. Francis Lone Bear says, "Good morning from this."
Good morning, brother. Good morning. Good morning.
Say, yeah.
That's my big brother right there.
YT Men's World.
Yeah.
Yate.
Mary Faye says, "Kikadoos. from
Kikadoos.
Botany. Okay, me and Sharon Beard getting our
Ah.
coffee on and listening."
All right. Thank
Let's
you.
go,
Thank you,
let's go.
ladies. Thank you.
Let's go.
Hey, Mary Faye, when are you and Shanoa gonna?
Oh, we're 12 step.
Yeah, like
Go
I-
live.
Yeah, we need y'all to do some lives. Got some fans over here.
Mhm.
Jeremy Harjo says,
Oh, Henchte.
there you go.
It's Che.
Henchte. Shabba.
Stongolo West. Stongolo
Oh,
West.
yeah, I found out we went to the same middle school.
Who you and Jeremy?
Yeah, because I my story I was talking about. Yeah, I said,
So he's
"Oh."
rugged too?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what Courtney said too. So y'all's both regular.
It's Che. Che.
Paula Goodbear says, "Good morning, fellas."
Oh.
Paula
Paula.
Poundstone. That's my sis right there.
All the pounds.
Morales, good morning.
Tobias.
Good morning.
Kimberly
morning, brother.
Says, "CO.
Oh,
Yo.
Good morning."
what the?
What up?
Dave said, "I can't wait for Thursday. I'm going to be counting how many times Mingo Bruce says Oba on the mic."
You know?
Lori Brooks, Bibona,
Hey, Lori.
and Randy says, "Good morning, my brothers."
Good morning,
Brothers.
Randolph.
Working at the gym, Randy.
No, he's in Hawaii.
Oh, with his
Sword donut from his
yeah,
thong.
should be pretty dark by now.
Yeah, Randy.
Should be pretty dark now.
No, I think it's from getting that sand in there. I don't know. But yeah, it's my brother Randolph.
Oh, Phyllis the realist.
You know, I gotta think. You know, there was one more thing I wanted to bring up. You know, we got a Shine Arapahoe brother out there in, I want to say maybe in L.A. He might be in L.A. or Orange County, in that area. His name is Tommy Coombs, and he went out to treatment. Man, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he went to treatment, and you know, his program took him to the beach. A wave, you know, he took on a pretty big wave, and it slammed him into some rocks that were on the beach, and he broke his neck. And now he's a quadriplegic. So he's been in the hospital. That program that he was in kind of like abandoned him. You know, just kind of left him on his own, and he's been trying to get back home. You know, so the brother Chad, you know, some more of our Cali peeps, you know, they're gonna start some fundraisers pretty soon. So, you know, we're just trying to get the word out there. You know, if anybody got any ideas, if anybody, you know, wants to help out, it's gonna you know, be like a group effort, right? You know, I think there's like some legal action maybe that might be taking part. You know, I'm not sure. I don't want to, you know, speak on things I don't know about. But I do know that this man is from Oklahoma. He's been out there, you know, a quadriplegic, and been, you know, he went out there for treatment, you know, when he got his neck broke, and he's been in the hospital ever since. I talked to him actually yesterday or 2 days ago. I got the chance to talk to him on the phone let him know, we'll be praying for him, thinking about him. And, I just want to, put it into, I'm going to speak it into existence, that we're going to figure out a way to help this man come home, with his family. And, just if you can, just keep him in your prayers. His name is Tommy Coons. So, I just wanted to, get that into the air, you know. So, if my prayer warriors could, keep them in your prayers, man. That was 3 years ago, bro. That's crazy. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like it's, it's sad, of course, but whenever I talked to him, he was in good spirits. Like he's not like, I don't know, man. Like I felt, like I couldn't have done it. Like I couldn't. I don't know, man. He was still in good spirits. So, thanks to my brother Chad, Mr. Chad Riley,
Said,
for bringing more attention, to, and there's different ones on here that tune in that had a lot to do with getting the word out and finding a way for this man to get home. A lot of things are going to be happening soon. So, I can't wait to share like how we can help this man out. So, just thought I would go ahead and put that in the air.
oh,
Yeah, thank you for
All right, I'm done.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we
Should we jump on?
just go ahead and
Got
jump
enough
off
people tuning
into
in?
it?
Yeah.
Got a whole bunch.
Oh, bunch. Yes. Anyways, not yet. Not yet. All right. Today is June 2nd, springtime. We're in the spring season. Today is the natural law is the final and absolute authority governing the ET Noha, the earth we call our mother. Traditional circles of elders. There's no greater, there's no power greater than the natural laws. These powers were set up by the Great Spirit in such a way that the human being has no access to it except by obeying. If we choose not to follow the natural laws, our lives will be filled with confusion, tension, anxiety, and stress. If we poison the earth, we poison ourselves. If we poison the water of the earth, we poison ourselves. As we do to the earth, as we do to ourselves and our children, even the children unborn, may we think about this day and ask ourselves, are we holding and acting toward the Mother Earth in a good way? Great Spirit, teach me the natural laws that govern the earth. Oh, Mr. Boton, what you think? What comes to mind with the natural law?
Thank you, Mr. White Man, for reading that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I thought of was, like basically it's like we're one with Mother Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're, like, how much do we depend on Mother Earth? Look at everything she provides. All of our ceremonies are like natural law was what our teacher was. That's where our ancestors seen that there was something to be gained by learning what Mother Earth does. Understanding that power and putting her, respecting her, as they should have. And then, thinking about, like I can't help but think about all of our ceremonies. You know, uh, Thinking about sweats. I think about, I always go back to thinking about the rocks. Mother Earth created these rocks maybe millions of years ago. And to think like sometimes people bring them from New Mexico, sometimes people bring them from, different areas, and to think like the creator knew then, or Mother Earth knew then, what these things would be used for. And she provided those things, and it's like she gave us these things to communicate with the creator with, like how can we not give her the respect that she needs, and treat her, like a true mother, like there's so many things that go into that thought process. Like, how can I be a better person? In my addiction, like I smoked hella cigarettes. My ashtray would always be full. Like I would pull up somewhere and I would start cleaning out my car. Get a Walmart sack, start putting all the empty beer cans or whatever in there. And I would just open up my door and leave my trash right there. There'd probably be a trash can like right there. I didn't even care. I'd just open up my car door and throw my trash down, get my ashtray, you get all the roaches out, then dump it.
Mm.
Like that was how my mind worked. And I didn't quite understand, what I was doing, because you're like in this such a self-centered, like, survival mode type mentality that, the last thing you're worried about is anybody else but myself. So thankfully today, I get to look at those things. I get to think about my actions. I get to ground myself on Mother Earth. Like that's a big part of my recovery, is being able to ground myself. You know, um, it makes me feel very, very humble. And when I think about how I complicate life, I can make things so complicated. But when I'm able to ground myself and sit down on Mother Earth, it just seems like life kind of becomes so simple. Like the way that I can connect with different things that are just sitting around me. I look at the plant life. I think about the animals, the birds. I think about the bugs and the bees and everything that's just constantly going around me. And here I used to think like I was like the center of this universe. That's how I felt. That's how I treated everything. I didn't have to, like I just throw my trash down wherever I was. I was just completely disrespectful. But today, I get to experience, what she provides, and I'm able to recognize when she's being mistreated. And like I always say, you always got to be that change that you want to see in the world. So that's what I thought of when I thought about this meditation today. Is that I get the opportunity, which I'm so grateful for. Because just think about how many people don't even realize, what we're doing to Mother Earth. Like it's sad, but I mean, I know if I want to start, I'm not gonna walk around and, hey, you need to pick that up, like yeah, that's just asking for trouble. But when I get the opportunity, I'll be the one, to pick up that trash. I'll be the one to make sure that, I have way more respect for her than what I used to show. And for that, like to me, that's a beginning of where I need to have more intention as I go through, as she keeps on providing for us. You know, no matter what, she just keeps on providing for us, no matter how ungrateful we are. You know, so I mean, the way I see it is we get in her way all the time.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't need us. She doesn't need humans on this earth. You know, she'd probably be way better off.
Hey,
I'm sure she's loving it when the dinosaurs were here. You know,
hey. Caveman.
yeah. But I mean, you know, like it's I see it as a gift today. You know, to be able to know like when I'm abusing her and how I can be a better person at just trying to show more respect. You know,
Yeah.
she's a provider. You know, she's our true mother. You know, if you think about it, she's our true mother. You know, so that's the way I like to think about it today. So that's all I got.
Ahoo.
Mado.
Mado. Ahoo. Miigwech. Well, what I thought of today is just, yeah, like you said, respecting Mother Earth, and it starts with you, picking up trash and hey, not just throwing it everywhere. But I don't know. I worked for this company a while back, and I recycle. I saved over $25,000 in recycle, and my boss at the time was real. He's real big about recycling and earth and getting trash in the right recycle bins too. And at first, I thought that was crazy. He's from Ohio, but he talked. He was very big into that, and I'm glad that I got to meet him and learn more about the recycle world and how we can reuse and save Mother Earth and a lot of things like that. So, and then growing up, my mom always taught us, get your trash, get everything up, put it in the trash, and no matter how many beer bottles was everywhere, it got picked up. But
You gotta do my auntie like that.
hey,
Yeah.
no, I mean but I don't um, but just having that, that knowledge, and having that ability to, not to, just keeping that mindset, just keeping the earth and clean as much as possible. Well,
Mhm.
that's all I got.
Mado.
What
Tatum,
Tatum.
do you have
Yeah.
something you would like to share on?
Um, Reading this, you guys are talking about respecting the earth, our Mother Earth. I feel like when I was in my addiction, I was living life with like foggy glasses, and then when I got sober, I could see for the first time, and
New lenses.
I found like beauty in so many things, like little flowers, and like it sounds so cheesy, it really does, but like seeing like just a body of water and like really watching it, and the moon, like I'm still so in awe of the moon and just how everything is connected around us. When Josie was a little tiny baby, like I can remember right after she started walking, she would always stop and smell flowers, even if it was some raggedy old dead flower, or even just some weed like that she thought was cool. She would always stop and smell the flowers. And now looking back, like there's a lesson in that, because I have appreciation for all the things today. And I'm a part of this women's circle. It's a Zoom meeting, and it's mind body medicine. And we start out our meeting having a cup of water, and we put our prayers into that water, and then we drink it. And it's just it's just we're
That's
just all
cool.
connected. So with the moon, and yeah, that's my take on it. Just, the world is a beautiful place if you can see it that way.
Yeah.
You could see it for all the ugly, if you choose to. But there's a lot of good, beautiful things out there that can serve us in ways, and we can serve back. So
Mm,
Mm.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
Or do we have any more comments?
Yeah.
Jack Anguish. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your last name. My updated clean time for me is June 2nd, 2025. 9 years, 1 month, 13 days without drugs or alcohol since April 20th, 2016. 3 years, 10 months, 20 days without gambling since June 26th, 2021. 6 years, 6 months, 28 days without a pop
Hey, that's big.
since October 18th, 2018.
Yeah,
6 months,
yeah.
8 days without a cigarette.
Hey, appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for
You know,
sharing. brother.
addiction comes in many forms.
Yeah, it does.
That's word.
You know, addiction comes in many forms,
That's
and
word.
That's
you know,
word.
healthy habits take. You know, they take practice.
Yeah.
You know, so that's pretty cool. I'm
That's word.
glad you were able to share that with us. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Nadina says, "Good morning, Mr. Whiteman."
Oh, good morning.
Anessa Madbull says, "Good morning."
Good morning, sis.
Phyllis says, "I wish I lived more I can't talk.
Sustainability.
There you go. Habits. Oh.
Phyllis the realist.
Yes, Phyllis. When I eat my food, I try to be aware what has come from the earth and what is, less processed foods.
Yes.
Man, they're good though, So you gotta make a
I
conscious
love my French
decision
fries.
about that too,
It is. You got to be, aware. You got to be aware.
McKay says, "Mother Earth is amazing. I just moved into the house I just bought and I'm excited to have my own veggies and garden. Keep working and Mother Earth will provide." Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Susie says, "Awesome."
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for all the comments.
Ruth says, "Your view on life changes and it is beautiful and amazing. Yes, appreciation for everything. And I also believe that as Native Americans should be more considerate of Mother Earth, being we live off of Mother Earth."
Exactly. It's like, like I know for me, I was always taught that everything is alive. The earth, the wind, like all these things are alive. And you should treat them as such. It doesn't everything doesn't have to have a root. Everything doesn't have to have, like everything is alive, and when we crawl into that sweat and I pray to these grandfathers, I have complete faith in these grandfathers, in these rocks. So I mean, that right there, like just the way that I worship, and they say it's crawling back into your mother's womb and you leave all your problems there, and then when you crawl out you're reborn. I love that. I love that. I've been taught that since, ever since the first time I went to go sweat out at my Uncle Duck's place out there in Thomas when I was about 10 years old. I'd sweat before that, but never like with my family and my people. Like I went to a camp at Romano's and we were all just kind of playing around. You know, little rotten guys.
Teenagers.
You got a really good question.
All right.
Rain Ochoa says, "Good morning, beautiful people. What is
morning.
your most favorite thing about being sober and why?"
Ooh.
Say that again.
What is your most favorite thing about being sober and why?
What is my most favorite thing? You want to go first?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, good question, Ray. I think favorite thing about being sober is just having a clear mind, and then and all the opportunities that come with it is like so many doors open for you to, and yeah, you got to go. It's a bad thing, but going through trauma and what happened to you, sexual abusive or verbal abuse, any kind of that you've been put down, but going through that and accepting it and not using any kind of substance or drinking or anything, but going through them feelings and then coming out reborn and able to share your story and connect with others. And I don't know, just you meet so many brothers and sisters along the red road, and being being open-minded is one big thing too, and able to not just be negative about everything that's coming towards you, you know, being positive and having that open mindset, and is able having that feeling and that ability, you know, being sober. So, oh,
That should be good. Nah, I'm just
yeah, that
kidding.
should have would
You know,
have.
I like that question. You know, one of the things that I always revert back to is, you know, I think about the physical, I think about the mental, I think about the emotional, and I think about the spiritual. You know, physically, you know, I had to physically understand, like, I have this allergy, right? You know, I can't just have just one. You know, like I the way my body works is I physically want more, you know, of these substances, you know, drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be, pills, you know, like whatever it is, right? I had to overcome that. And I had to, you know, I needed medical attention. You know, I had to be at a detox facility. So, you know, I wake up without any of that worry here today. You know, like I woke up, you know, clear minded, happy, you know, physically, you know, in a safe place, you know, and it was something that I was able to provide for myself. You know, I don't depend on anybody else to hold that space available for me. You know, I pay my own rent. You know, I work my own job. You know, like I pay my own bills. You know, so physically, then I think about the mental. You know, I was really struggling, really, 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 really struggling. You know, every time, you know, I was in this toxic routine. You know, it's like it just kept happening over and over and over, over and over and over and over, over and over and over and over and over. Yeah, it just kept going and going.
Over and over.
You know, like I kept restarting my life, lose everything. You know, and I remember I couldn't provide for my kids no more. You know, I had to, and, you know, and then my oldest daughter, you know, she started her womanhood. You know, so like I had to like give my kids back to their mom, and it like man, that was such a mental strain on me. You know, I didn't know what to do. You know, like I felt worthless. You know, because I didn't get to be the dad that I enjoyed being. You know, and then I lost my son in 2016 to suicide. You know, and it was like, you know, that when I thought I had mental strain before that, you know, nothing compared to what I had to go through when all of that happened. You know, and you know, I like I said, you know, I woke up today grateful. You know, I woke up grateful this morning. As soon as I wake up, man, it feels so good. Wake up in my own bed, you know, and I got clean clothes to put on. I got food on my table. You know, I'm able to provide a safe place for, you know, me and my kids and my grandkids. You know, like the mental part of what I thought, you know, was survival mode, just trying to get through the day. I'm able to be present today, and I'm able to be grateful, thankful, and appreciative of everything that goes on. You know, and grateful for the people that I have in my life. You know, so that's the physical and the mental, and then the emotional. Man, the emotional maturity that has taken a positive toll in my life. You know, like I worked the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, and getting into wellbriety. You know, like you learn, like you find this happy medium. You know, in addiction, I had all these super high highs. Like when something good happened, man, I'd be way up there. I'd be floating, you know, and then when it would go away, you know, and I would look at, you know, what my life really was, you know, I'd get real honest with myself, and it would take me down, you know, so I would always have really low lows. So it was like one from one extreme to the other. Like always, like just one extreme to the other. Happy, sad, mad, like, yeah, bad, yeah. Yeah, like all these, like one extreme to the other. And today, I got to learn about myself. I got to learn what physically makes me mad, what mentally gets me upset, and what emotionally, like where I had to question my own values, and where I had to question, you know, what I was able to allow in my life, what made me happy and what didn't. Like you call it simple math, right? But I mean, when it goes through here, it's not so simple. I complicate everything. So, I think about the physical, the mental, and the emotional. I found that happy medium. Like, I'm not gonna get overjoyed when something good gets happened. Of course, I'm gonna be happy. And I'm not gonna get down on myself because like I have these vision problems going on right now. I don't take it as, oh, poor me. Like I think of it as, I hope the creator allows me to see what he needs me to see. Like, how you gonna make me blind to make me see something, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, I'm willing to accept that because that's the creator's will, not my own. So then spiritually, I covered the physical, the mental, the emotional, and now the spiritual. Man, I don't have to do it my way no more. I made that connection with Maheo, with the creator, with the great mystery, the great one. He's brought me this far, and I don't think he's gonna leave me. Like I wake up and I ask for him to put his will into my life every day. Keep me sober just for today. And I may not know what the creator's will is, but I know what it isn't. It isn't me smoking a joint. It isn't me taking a drink. It isn't me using any substance to replace what he's provided in my life. So when I think about it, the physical, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, I would have to say, when my spirit is okay, that's why I do service work. When my spirit's okay, then I know I'm gonna be all right. But when my spirit gets off, that's when trouble starts brewing. But it took me working the 12 steps for me to realize that. So, my the greatest thing to happen to me after getting sober was I got to be a grandpa. Like that's the greatest thing to me ever. It's crazy because like God was right on time with that. And used to see this little girl light up whenever I walk in the room. It lets me know that all of everything that I had to go through, it was worth it because today I can share my, what I that's another thing, is I get to share my story today and show people that this thing it's a doable thing, it's not impossible. And if you allow the creator to do what he does and get out of his way, it's amazing what can happen after that. So, was that long enough?
No, good. Oh.
Woo-hoo. All right, I'm done.
No, no, we still got 30 minutes.
Ah,
Yeah.
do we have any more comments?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I hope that answers
Oh,
your
yeah.
question. Thank you for
Thank
tuning
you,
in.
Rain Ochoa.
Thank you for the question.
Ruben said the earth provides everything we need to survive: meats, fish, plants, medicines. You know who doesn't want that anymore? You don't see small family farms anymore.
Yeah.
I know.
Frida
Love you.
says, I took 2 weeks off, but before I did, I hit a sweat on my res in Ignacio. And last round, I laid down and gave Earth all the energy I pick up from helping people, whether it was positive and negative. And she gave me back so much of her energy. Then I got out and said, I'm taking off and doing self care. I did, but kept going to meetings and enjoyed my house with my significant other. I'll be leaving early Friday and going to have my grandbabies over for the weekend before I go to work. What a way to refresh.
Thank you for what you do, Frida. Thank you for what you do, sis. That's word.
We love
Mm.
you, Frida. Ruben says breaking the chain, alcohol and now fentanyl is a huge problem on every res. It's
Every
hard to
reservation.
look at the man in the mirror and accept defeat. Oof.
Like Michael Jackson.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
My cousin Will is always when you ask him, what song you want to hear? Man in the Mirror. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, thank you for that
Dorothy,
comment.
Have a blessed day from Dorothy.
you too.
Thank you. Thank
Aho,
you.
aho.
Belinda
Bible.
Belinda's. Oh, Belinda Bible.
Good morning.
says, good morning. Jonas Bravehawk says that toxic cycle is dangerous and we must remind ourselves and teach our young ones that that state doesn't have to remain our reality. The world will keep us down if we let it. It's okay to seek help for mental well-being. There is hope and our people deserve all the goodness that life has to offer.
Thank you for that comment. We
Oh.
appreciate that.
Frida says, I love y'all and thank you all.
Word.
Thank you for all you do and helping us all over the world and all
That's
nations in the four directions. I hope.
Aho, sister.
Belinda Bible says, I'm from Bixby. I got 2 years, January 7th.
Hey.
Look.
Remember Belinda came to the office that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's, yeah, I've been to circle with her up there in Tulsa
Nice.
at the Methodist church up there, Indians for Sobriety. And she's part of Trail of Hope. So, we appreciate you tuning in. Tell my brother Ryan I said good morning.
And Mary
Stay
Faye
hard.
says, oh, I forgot to share that I turned 9 years old in recovery.
What?
Thankful
Hey, yeah.
to be today.
For today.
Congratulations, sister.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Word,
That's
that's
huge.
word.
She's been doing a lot of great work up there with the Pawnee Nation. So we appreciate what you do, sis. We'll be
That's word,
seeing
that's
you
word.
in August, right? Well, yeah. But yeah, August for sure.
Belinda said, I will.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sis. Thank you for tuning in. Well, I believe that was it.
Oh, I had one thing.
Go ahead.
I,
Let her rip.
I heard the kids know what fentanyl fold is.
Huh?
Fentanyl fold.
Huh?
I saw that.
Yeah, it's on all the all the kids are starting to know. Oh, remember I told you Justin Bieber, he was on stage about to, but they say he's having I guess trauma triggering from this P Diddy.
Oh, the
thing going-
fentanyl fold.
Yeah, fentanyl.
Where everybody's leaned over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the kids know what it is now.
Well, they're pretty smart these days.
They got all this.
Yeah, and it's got to be stigma around that. Stigma around being able to talk about these things.
Mhm.
So I'm glad they came up with the name for it. But that makes sense though. Leave it up to some kids to say something that's understandable.
Yep.
And we're pretty fortunate, that it's not taking over our community like it has to other places.
Man, yeah.
I've seen it. I know what they're talking about. I've seen that before. So
Oh, we have another question.
yes.
Rain Ochoa said, yes, it did help her. She said, thank you.
Thank
She
you.
said, what is your biggest achievement? And what would you like to accomplish?
What is my biggest achievement? I'd like to go first on this one.
Go ahead.
I would have to say you got another 30 minutes.
I told you 30 minutes. I told you.
Yeah, charge
Got
your
all day.
phones.
Got all day.
Well, my biggest achievement was figuring out that I only have to do this one day at a time. My biggest achievement was actually looking for help. Like it's like a combined thing. When I think about it today, but all the actions that I had to take to get to where I am today, I'm 4 years and 1 month. 4 years and 1 month clean. I remember
Yeah, which
how that first day was. And I felt like the world had been lifted off my shoulders. Because I was finally able to admit to myself, that I have a problem and I need help. But like there's so many there's so many milestones that I'm that you get to experience, right? But I would have to say, it was realizing that I only have to do this one day at a time. I don't know why that feels like an accomplishment so much, but I remember when I used to struggle with just trying to get through one day.
Yep.
My biggest accomplishment is being that sober grandpa that I never had. Being that sober dad that I never had. Being all those things of all those people, being that sober uncle. Being that, I don't know, just being a a sober person in my community. Because it was such a struggle for me. I get to be that sober grandpa. Yeah, that's my greatest accomplishment.
Mm,
I got a granddaughter. Her name is Alani, and then I got Nova, my other granddaughter, and they're the only two people in my family that have never seen me drunk or high.
mm,
And that's okay. I'm okay with that. Even though they're the only two, and I got another grandson. His name is Shiloh Pierre. Those are the only three people in my family that have never seen me drunk or high. So that's my greatest accomplishment. And what was the other part of the question?
what was your biggest achievement, and what would you like to accomplish?
What would I like to accomplish? To break the generational curse in my family. I want to be the beginning of that. I want to take a stance in my community. Like the way my brother Dave said, is you work on yourself, you work on your family, you work on your community, then you work on your nation. Like
Mm.
that's how I see it. So I feel like that's what I'm doing here today. So I mean, aho.
But no, my biggest achievement is, I think, just sober in life, able to be alive and be with my family again. I don't like to share, but I'll just say a little. But we just had a little tragedy this weekend. Some bad news from our family out west. But prayers for them. Are you prayer warriors? Just say a little prayer for my family. I think biggest accomplishment, just family and being reconnected, even if it's something. Maybe there was a bad connectedness during, if your addiction or their addiction, and able to just see them again or connect in some kind of way. And then what would I like to accomplish? I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot to put in one. I think just being there for my kids and able to do what I can to show them, through cultural. Cultural is real big in my family, so able to carry that too is one of my achievements that I get to, share the knowledge, understanding regalia and understanding traveling. When I took my son Braden out to Albuquerque in Alabama, he was just amazed of all the dancers and everything, then just the environment, and able for him to experience that and me experience that when I was a little guy too, and able to show them the way and show them the path. And and he talked to me a little bit after my speaker night. He said a lot of good things. Just the father and son deal, and I don't know. That's just just able to accomplish that every day. From here on out is a big a hope.
Big aho moment.
A whole moment.
You ever show them any of your moves?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then after I do this, then I do this. Yeah.
Not like that, but I just say, hey, listen to the drum, the
Do
song.
this, then I do this.
No, I gotta tell him the song. You gotta listen to the song and honor that beat.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I like your answer.
Hmm
And you are a good dad, brother.
Oh, a hoe, brother.
You know, you are a good dad, you know, so
I'll give you a hoe. Yeah.
yeah. Well, we better get off of here.
Yeah, we've been on here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rain, for that question.
Yes, thank you for that question. Well,
Questions. That was
like,
good.
share, follow. Like, share, follow. Tell your mammy about us. And we will, it's gonna be, we're going to a conference, a training for the next 2 days.
Mhm.
Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm not sure.
And OKC.
I don't know if we're gonna record episodes and post them later, or are you gonna?
Well, yeah, I'll be here.
Yeah.
I'll find
So-
somebody.
Are you gonna handle it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mingo will be here. Tune in, and we will see you
Soon.
Thursday.
Oh, come out Thursday night.
Yeah, come out Thursday night to Jinx Simmons Fieldhouse here in El Reno. We're gonna
What hall?
have dinner at 5, and then gore dance to follow. Nothing crazy, not like special after special. It's just gonna be like a big gore dance session. So social
Social.
session.
Mm.
But we will see you soon. I hope.